So this is Steven Spielberg's return to big sci-fi.
Spielberg's take on Disclosure Day is very boomerish.
It's a big sci-fi event. He's done many before. He's back into it.
He has it happening in a broadcast local news studio.
Yes. Some may call this the thematic trilogy to
That's not how it would happen. Let's be real.
Close Encounters, E.T., and now Disclosure Day.
Nobody watches network news anymore.
John Williams, he's like 99 years old.
It would happen on the internet, right? We would be watching it on YouTube.
So Steven Spielberg and him are reunited. This could be the last dance.
Welcome to Hate to See It with Mike and Cid, the talk show where we bring you a new movie review each week. I'm Mike.
And I am Cid.
We're a small channel. You'd really help us out if you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, drop a comment with your feedback. It will really help us grow. Also, if you're just here for a certain segment, maybe you just want to check out our final verdict on this week's movie, Disclosure Day, you can use the chapter feature to skip right to the end. With that out of the way, Cid, how's it going this week?
It's going great. The Knicks are finally champions.
The Knicks are champions. It was awesome. I got into it. I actually hopped onto the bandwagon last year.
I remember that.
I've never been a huge NBA fan.
You used to like the Nets, I feel like,
I
in college.
did used to like the Nets, those Jason Kidd Nets.
Yep.
But once the Nets moved to Brooklyn, I was out.
You were out.
So it was cool. I mean, it was a great team. It's just
phenomenal team.
It's a true team, right? I mean, Jalen Brunson is a star, but they really use every player. They use the bench, right? I mean, every player has
they complement one another. They
Yeah.
have each other's backs. They bought into the vision. You know, I never thought I'd see this day. One of my earliest heartbreaks in life was the Knicks losing in '94. I vividly remember it during the World Cup. The Rangers had just won. I thought life was going to be perfect. I thought my teams were going to keep on winning.
Do you remember getting interrupted by the white Bronco chase?
I do. I sure do.
A historic moment.
It sure was. But yeah, so we were supposed to record potentially Saturday. And when did they win? They won Saturday night? Is that right? I forget now.
Yes.
So I was hoping we would delay it because if we recorded it Saturday, we wouldn't have known the winner.
Right.
But it worked out and we could talk about it. But that's enough.
Congrats to the Nova Knicks.
Nova Knicks.
Okay, there is one other thing I want to mention quick. Since we are a movie review channel, we put up a movie review last week in Masters of the Universe. Very interesting conversation. You and I differed a little bit on it. This is our highest performing review on the channel since our first review, Running Man.
So Running Man has the most views?
Yeah, and this
is second.
This is second. It's almost at 150 last I checked. But I think Running Man benefited because it was our first upload in several years.
Yep.
With this one, it just, people were interested in it. So, I'm happy to see that. If you tuned in for the first time last week, welcome back. We hope you stick around and let us know what you like, what you don't like. We're here to please.
Yes, we are. Mike, did we ever talk about why we changed the format of our image? Our thumbnail. I don't know if we ever talked about that, discussed that with our viewers, or maybe we did.
Well, you used to have a football on it, right?
Well, no. I'm talking about like now it says 1 week later.
I don't know if we have talked about that. We may have, but basically, I think we talked about it a little bit. So, we're not professional critics, not yet at least. So we don't get access to like advanced screenings of these movies. So we can't really put out our reviews like right when the movie comes out or even a few days before the movie comes out, like a lot of critics do. So we decided let's lean into our reviews are going to be 1 week late because there's a lot of conversation like a week after a movie comes out. There's people who are on the fence who want to know if this is worth seeing or not. So
that's who we're targeting.
That's who we're targeting. Let us know if you think that's helpful.
And maybe it worked with Masters of the Universe. Maybe, right? Maybe people are like, wow, this didn't get a lot of viewership at the theaters, but let's check out this review and see if we should actually go to the theater and see this film.
Yeah, well, my theory with that is Masters of the Universe, the main demo is like Gen X, specifically younger Gen X, like almost millennials, like or some older millennials like yourself. And these are people who are very busy.
So you're calling me the older one.
Well, you and I are both older
Yes.
millennials,
Yes.
but I was not into Masters of the Universe as a kid.
Correct.
That's what I was
Okay.
referring to. So, a lot of people in our demographic of people a few years older than us, they have young families. They're not
Yep.
going out to the movies, so they're waiting for. I think there's a lot of interest in Masters of the Universe, but not interest in seeing it in theaters. I think people want to know if it's worth checking out
Correct.
when it comes to streaming.
I agree. And now that I think about it, I think we did briefly mention this, but it was good to remind or tell our new viewers why we're called 1 week later.
Cool. That was a good idea. All right, Sid, why don't we get into the meat of it? We're going to kick it off with our popular segment, our relatively new segment that you and I both enjoy. Cast question.
All right.
And we're going to have a question from our friend Cass that has something to do with Disclosure Day. I'm going to pull it up.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me here on Cast's Question. This is Cast from Throwbacks with the Technodrome, and I'm very happy to be back on Hate to See It with Mike and Sid to bring you some trivia. Which of the following movies did Steven Spielberg not direct? Was it A, Poltergeist, B, E.T., C, AI, or D, Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
All right, we got an easy one. I know the answer to that question 100%. Do you?
I do as well.
So why don't we reveal it at the count of three?
All right.
3, 2, 1. A,
A.
Poltergeist.
We
All
both got it
right.
right.
We
Well, that
both
was
got
an
it
easy
right.
one.
Well, I mean, I think we both got it right. Let's see. I'm going to share it again.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't know yet. But I think he tossed us with
Maybe
an
it's like a Mandela effect, like the Berenstain Bears and the Berenstein Bears. And we're going to find out.
And the answer is A, Poltergeist. Steven Spielberg did not direct Poltergeist. And if you didn't know the answer to that one, maybe you should start watching Jeopardy and gain a little bit of knowledge. But if the TV gets like weird and staticky, take a few steps back. Back to you guys.
All
So
right.
Cass does a really good job at the end of like making a comment that ties into the answer usually.
Yeah, when he mentioned Jeopardy, at first I thought he was because I brought up Jeopardy a few weeks ago. I said his questions should be more like Jeopardy questions,
Yes.
but I realized now he's referring to something in Poltergeist. But yeah, he does bring great references.
Yep,
I
especially the
believe
TV.
I believe Spielberg did produce Poltergeist,
Poltergeist. It's
if
very
I'm not
possible.
mistaken. Um, Fact check us on that. Let us know in the comments if I'm right about that. All classic movies, all four of those.
For sure.
Spielberg, I think he's the GOAT. I would say
Or one of the goats.
he's one of the GOATs. So great question, cast. Unfortunately, I didn't gain any ground on Sid. I
I hate to
forget what
see
the
it.
score is. What is it? What is it like 5-2 now, or
I
something
don't
like
know. I
that?
think I run away with it. I think
Uh,
honestly, it should just be questions for me moving forward.
well, Cast had this idea. Did you see in our group chat?
I might have missed it.
So he suggested that we could potentially change it to it's us versus him, where we play the question, then you and I talk
Mm,
it out, try to get it right. We use both of our knowledge to try to get the right answer, and we
that
try
could
to.
that could actually be really fun.
Let's think about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
let us know
especially
in the
because you like
comments if
the
you like that idea.
because it looks like you made Cass like the not the pussy version of himself, but you made him dial down his fastballs.
Well, he recorded these all in a batch, so I don't
Oh, he
think
did?
yeah, I don't think he's changed anything based on our
Okay.
feedback yet.
Okay. Well, good to know. Alexa, stop.
All right. Well, thank you, Cass, for that question. That was a lot of fun. And that'll bring us to our next segment, the 60-second setup.
This is where we spend 60 seconds or less setting up the movie. So I will go this week. Here we go. So this is Steven Spielberg's return to big sci-fi. It's not thriller or action movie. It's a big sci-fi event. He's done many before. He's back into it. Some may call this the thematic trilogy to Close Encounters, E.T., and now Disclosure Day. Not officially a trilogy, but like I said, thematic trilogy. Anyways, the story is about a meteorologist and a cryptologist or something. I can't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but events lead them to together, and now they're forced to work together and solve a mystery of extraterrestrial happenings that may change the world forever if it's revealed. Something along those lines. So
Right.
I don't want to get too spoilery.
And just to add, the movie's kind of a chase movie, and there's this organization led by Colin Firth, his character, that is trying to stop them.
Exactly. Well said.
All right. Good job, Sid. Um,
Cool.
nice and succinct.
Yep. Try to do a 60-second or less. I didn't really reveal too much, but like I said, two people, they got information, and if information is leaked, the world could change forever.
Absolutely. All right, why don't we get into our next segment, initial reactions?
You want to go first, Mike?
Sure. And we're trying to be very brief with these initial reactions. I think it worked out well last week.
It sure did.
So for me, this movie passes what I call the phone test, which means I didn't look at my phone once during the movie. I found the movie to be gripping throughout its entire runtime, particularly the last 40 minutes or so, which I found extremely compelling. I think the movie has an ending, which we'll get into, that I have a feeling is controversial with audiences. I myself am mixed on the ending, which I will talk about in both Hate to See It and Love to See It. I think the movie is an enjoyable movie that is let down by a half-baked script. Could have used a little bit more time in the oven. Doesn't ruin the movie, though. It's still an enjoyable movie that I recommend.
Alrighty, Mike. Thank you. I'll go next. So my initial reaction, I was trying to say big budget. So it's Steven Spielberg's return to big budget sci-fi, which I was really happy about. So my initial reaction is great. This is what I love about Steven Spielberg. This is what I need about Steven Spielberg. Has all the elements of Steven Spielberg. Has his longtime partner in crime. Is it John Williams? I can't think right now. John Williams. So that's a great combo. We don't know how many more years of that combo we'll get. Could be the final one. So yeah, I enjoyed that return to scene for Steven Spielberg and company. But again, like you mentioned, the ending could potentially be controversial. Looking forward to talking about that a little more. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Okay. And I didn't mention this earlier. I intended to mention it. I have a prediction for this episode.
Okay.
You and I, the last few episodes, we differed a little bit on our opinions.
Which is good.
Not huge, but enough that it's like made for some interesting conversation.
For sure.
I have a feeling this week we're going to agree pretty much. I think we're going to be in alignment. And based on our initial reactions, I think that is looking like it's going to be the case, but we'll see.
We shall see, and our viewers will see as well.
All right, so why don't we head right into Hate to See It?
Hate to See It. I'll go first, all right?
Why don't you explain that segment first, if you don't mind?
Of course, I'm gonna do that right now, Mike, as I always do. So Hate to See It, the section where you and I give two things we disliked about the film. Is that right? Is that what you wanted? Is that what you're expecting?
That's what I was expecting. That's what I was waiting for.
Are you listening?
I am.
Good, because that's what my first Hate to See It is.
Let's just give a spoiler warning here. From this point on in the review, there are going to be heavy spoilers.
Heavy spoilers, yes. Oh, we should have said it earlier, but I think it says it in the title card potentially.
I put it in the
cool.
Yeah.
So did you catch what I meant by listen?
I sure did. Yeah, the very last word of the movie you just said.
Yes. So that's the thing I think you were talking about, potentially controversial, or not necessarily controversial, but people will have differing opinions on that. So what I mean by that, this was a very long film. A lot happened. It was like a 2 hour and 25-minute film, and you're waiting to see what happens at the end, right? Because they talk about different things of like, should we reveal this mystery to the world? Is the world ready for this mystery? What is the mystery? You have forces there. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't think it's exactly a spoiler of what the mystery is, because I think the trailers pretty much let us know.
Yeah.
Like, what's the title of the movie, I think?
Of course.
So,
oh, you mean them not referring to aliens?
I mean, yeah, we haven't actually said it yet. It's about the fact that aliens are among us, intelligent life, and it's been hidden by not the government, but this private organization, like pseudo-government organization, for the past 80 years or so, and it's going to be disclosed by whistleblowers.
Very true. So I think some viewers like myself felt cheated because at the end of the film, they bring out this alien. Yeah. And it's the first live moment of an alien, because most of the other footage is from back in the day, right?
Right.
So it's the first interaction with a live alien. I'm sure we could talk about what that scene was like, but at the end, basically, alien says he chirps, right? Doesn't he chirp? He chirps like whatever it is. I butchered that.
He whispers something to the character Daniel, and Daniel is able to understand the alien language. He has been given a gift by the aliens.
He has. And then, but I think it was the woman who says what it is at the end.
Yeah, I'm sure he told her or she has like some sort of telepathic
Oh
ability.
yeah, so she can sense it from
Probably
him.
just sensed it from
From
him.
him.
Yeah,
And the movie ends with her saying, "Listen." So
correct.
that's what the alien says. The whole world is watching at this point.
Yeah,
We'll probably get into that later, but everyone's watching. They're anticipating it. They just heard about these aliens. They know aliens exist. Everyone's glued to the screen, and it ends with "Listen."
yeah,
So this film is called Disclosure Day,
right.
and they don't disclose that much at the end of the day. I mean, they disclose a
They
thing about the
disclose a
aliens,
lot.
but they
Yeah.
don't disclose more information. Like, give us more. Like, I wanted more. Like, I want to know. Like, what do you mean listen? We're obviously listening because we're looking at you, right?
Sid, so this is my exact same first hate to see it. I mentioned I'm going to have a love to see it that is the same thing. So it's going to be the first time I've ever done this, and it'll make more
Okay.
sense once we get there. But yeah, so just to set the stage or to set the scene a little bit more, the whistleblowers get to this local television station in Kansas City, Missouri. Through their abilities, they're Margaret is the character played by Emily Blunt. Great job. I thought she gives a great performance
Yes,
in the movie.
she's
All
a
the
great
performances.
actress.
She was the standout for me. Um, and Josh O'Connor, who we saw in Wake Up Dead. We've seen a lot of these actors in
Correct.
movies
They're
that
recycling
we've
in our
reviewed.
reviews.
What's his name? Colman Domingo.
Yes, which we've
We've seen
also
him in
seen.
several movies.
Yep. Oh
Uh,
shit, this might be like the third or fourth
I
with
think it's the
him.
third. Yeah, because we saw him in Michael and we saw him in
Running
Running
Man.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah, and Emily Blunt we saw in Devil Wears Prada 2. Josh O'Connor we saw in Wake Up
Wake
Dead
Up Dead
Man.
Man.
Very interesting.
So Colin might be the leaderboard. But I'll have to
Yeah,
circle back and check.
Colin Firth is a fantastic actor, and I like seeing him off type in this movie.
Yes.
He usually plays a more heroic character.
But it's two
Well,
Collins, I
not
guess?
always, but what?
There's two Collins, right? Colin Domingo and Colin Firth.
Coleman, I believe is his
Oh, it's
name.
Coleman. Oh, yes. I was talking about Coleman, but yes. Talk about Colin.
Yeah, he's the head of this. I forget the name of the
Yeah, I
organization.
forget too.
War something. Uh,
Vortec?
War
No.
Tech.
Something.
I forget what it is, but
Yeah.
he's in charge of this organization that is in charge of keeping the secret of
Yep.
extraterrestrial life.
Of
And
not disclosing.
basically, it's been farmed off to this private organization. So because the government, they don't think they can trust the president once the president becomes a civilian again,
Yes.
and they don't trust the government to handle this secret. So this private organization is handling it. So he's the one that is pursuing Margaret and Daniel as they are trying to get to this television network. And Daniel, he has all this information on these hard drives, and he's just going to upload it, and it's going to be broadcast to the whole
Yep.
world.
They're showing the
And
old
then that's the
alien
end of the movie,
footages.
and that's the end of the movie, and it's very compelling. But then at the end of it, as everything is disclosed, they wheel out this alien.
Yeah.
It's a stereotypical little gray man, which I'm a little surprised they went with the stereotypical design. It's basically what you imagine in your head when you think of.
But he looked bigger than the other ones,
It
right?
was bigger. I think the other
Yes.
ones might have been younger, or something like
Maybe.
that. Whatever, we don't really know. And they wheel him out,
Hmm.
and he's in this like large, I don't know, what container or something.
It's like
cells.
It's like Adam Sandler in the Bubble Man movie, whatever it's called.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's kind of like Hannibal, like when he's
Yes,
in
yes.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Because they did mention they like to eat humans.
They didn't say that.
No, they didn't. No.
So they wheel out the alien and they release it. It whispers something to Daniel, and then Margaret goes onto television and
Yep.
she just says, "Listen," and that's the end of the movie, right?
It ends,
So
yeah.
why would you?
What were we listening?
Why are you wheeling out the alien? If you're gonna, I don't necessarily have a problem. They have to end the movie at some point, right?
Correct.
And the movie is just called Disclosure Day, which means it's about the day that this information is disclosed.
Closed.
It's not suggesting that we get more than that we find out what happens after disclosure. So I don't have a problem with the abrupt ending inherently, but why are you wheeling out this alien, this live alien, and then why don't you put the alien on TV? Like, why would you tease that? It's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
So I hated to see that part of the movie.
Same here. Like I said, it's called Disclosure Day, but they didn't disclose much with what the alien was saying.
All right. I'm going to go into my second hate to see it, which I think the movie suffers a little bit. And this is what I'm referring to with issues with the script, lack of exposition. Because the movie does provide a lot of lore about this alien species that is among us, but it doesn't. It suggests questions in kind of a frustrating J.J. Abrams kind of way without providing answers.
Mm,
And I think the movie was either too long or too short. And let me explain what I mean by that. It feels like there's content in the movie that is hinting at maybe there was a longer cut of this movie and it was shortened.
very
Um,
possible.
and I think particularly there's a scene where finally we have this confrontation between Colin Firth and Hugo, played by Colman Domingo. And there seems like there's a lot of history between these two characters, and
Yes,
and but we just don't get much of an explanation of what that
correct.
is. And I really wanted to know, why is it so important that this secret be kept? That why would it be so dangerous for the world to learn about aliens? And now there are a lot of potential answers to that question. A lot of movies have dealt with that question. This movie doesn't really provide anything other than there's an interesting question dealing with religion. Daniel's girlfriend,
Ugh,
her
and you
name is
always talk. Any chance you have to talk about religion, you do it.
Daniel's girlfriend,
You just no sold me.
is a former nun. Her name is Jane, and she has ambivalence about releasing the information because she's concerned about what will happen to faith in the world when billions of people of faith learn of the existence of intelligent life all at the
Yes,
same time. The movie deals with this a little bit, but not much. Colin Firth's character, he dives onto Jane. Is that what the term diving?
what do you
He
mean?
has, the thing that he holds in his hand
Oh yeah, I
that
don't know.
he uses. He basically, it's kind of like a Professor X thing in the
Yes,
X-Men. He uses it to find people out in the world,
superior alien technology,
superior alien technology,
which in the wrong hands can
and
be
he
very
kind of uses
deadly.
the religion question to try to get her on his side because he wants to use her to stop Daniel.
Who's manipulating her?
And then later on in the movie, we get this scene where Jane is like at a diner and she calls this older nun that she used to be in the same convent with, and the nun just like gives her the answer. It's like, okay, that's a perfectly acceptable answer. There's a lot of sci-fi that is. It's an interesting question. What happens to religious faith in a universe where there are multiple species of intelligent life? I mean, Star Trek has dealt with this in very interesting ways. Star Wars has. A video game
Ugh.
series that you and I both like, Mass Effect, has dealt with it. This movie just, I don't know why it raises this question and it just doesn't address it in an interesting fashion. I'll just leave it at that. I didn't have a problem with it. It's just like very surface level way that it dealt with this. A very interesting question. And we don't get the answer, as I mentioned before. Why is it so important
To keep the
that
secret.
that this secret be kept? And there's a potential answer in the movie that is just not explored at all. I forgot about it until it was mentioned again, like late in the movie. There's this international crisis going on in the backdrop of the movie. They refer
Yes.
to it as like World War III.
Yeah, it's like against
They,
Korea potentially,
they
right?
mention it like twice in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like really weird.
Yeah, when it
Uh,
happens, I was like, wait, did that really happen?
Yeah, and so they bring it up. It's like, okay, but that could actually be used in the plot of the movie because there's this private company operating in the United States that has all access to all this alien technology that could be very dangerous. So,
Yep.
if all this confidential information is disclosed to the whole world, that could threaten our national security, and especially at a time where the world apparently is on the brink of world war.
More.
Why didn't you use that? Why isn't that incorporated into the story? That seems like a very compelling reason for this company to want to stop disclosure at all costs. And it's just not explored in the movie at all.
I love
That's
that.
it. That's my hate to see it. My second hate to see it.
That's probably one of the best hate to see it we've had. Good job, Mike.
Thank you.
So you talked about him, Colin Firth. Now, I didn't hate him, but this is kind of like building off of what you just said. So they're going, or he's trying with all costs to stop this from leaking, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and he has the technology to stop this. And a lot of it's a cat and mouse game throughout the film, right? If the heroes go ahead for a little bit, the villains catch up to them, they catch them, and they're just it's a chase film, like you said, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like if they're really hell bent of stopping them, they should have really raised the stakes. Like show like they might even kill someone. Like I needed one of the supporting characters to be killed throughout this process.
Well, they were certainly trying to kill them at certain points in
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah, but they could have if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, and then if the viewer sees them kill one of them, not the main characters, but a supporting character, then the stakes get raised more, right? Then you're like, all right, they're really trying to protect this. So it's kind of cartoonish in that sense. Where like, oh, it just cat and mouse, back and forth, back and forth. Let's raise the stakes a little more. Let's have them do something to really show how strong this organization was and what they would do at all costs to stop this from leaking. So again, kind of building off of what you were saying.
I agree with you, Sid. And to add on to that, you mentioned it's like a cat and mouse. There's a movie that you and I believe we saw it in college, that I was reminded a little bit of. Children of Men.
Oh, that was a great film.
And the similarity between these two movies is that it's also a sort of a chase movie.
Yes.
In Children of Men, they're trying to get this. It's a world
Pregnant
where
woman?
people can't get pregnant, women
Yeah.
can't get pregnant, and the population is dwindling. And there's a young woman who's pregnant, and they're
Pregnant.
trying to get her to safety. Right.
Yeah.
That movie gives us very little answers about like what's going on in the world. Why are
Sure.
people stopping to? And I think I said earlier this movie could have been either longer and given us more answers, or it could have been shorter and given us fewer answers. And I think you could have cut 20 to 30 minutes off the movie and given us fewer answers and made it more like Children of Men. Would have been a different movie, but I think maybe would have been a more interesting movie.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think that was definitely a darker film, right? I think the stakes were raised.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. I think that does it for Hate to See It, right?
It does. Let's get to the positives, Mike. Let's because this was a good film.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Love to See It is our next segment. This is a segment where we each give you two things that we loved about the movie.
Sure.
And I'll kick it off. This is I already said this. I'm going to give the same thing that I hated. I loved the ending. Now, not the very ending, but the ending sequence, like the last 40 minutes of the movie, I found very compelling. Like the actual disclosure. We are waiting for this. The movie's called Disclosure Day. We are waiting for it the whole movie. And when it gets to it, when it starts happening, when they get to this network and they start broadcasting all this information to the world, it's very satisfying. We see all these TV screens of all these different broadcasts broadcasting this information throughout the world. We see all these people at airports, on trains, wherever. We see all the reactions to this shocking information. I thought it was just really compelling filmmaking, and I was glued to the screen. It was very exciting. That aspect I loved.
I agree with you, Mike. I love that as well.
All right.
So now I'm going to talk about something. I think you usually talk about this, the score.
Okay.
Right? That usually ends up being something that you love. I'm not saying this with this film, but for me, it was a lot to see it. I talked about him earlier. John Williams, he's like 99 years old. So Steven Spielberg and him are reunited. This could be the last dance, right? Because I can't imagine he'll do a lot of films, and it's potentially the last chance, last opportunity for him to win another Oscar. Potentially, but there's some strong competition. We talked about it earlier, right? We have Dune. We have the movie recently. What movie was it recently that was
I
really
thought Masters of the Universe had a great score.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not going to win,
score.
but it was a great score.
But there's what am I missing? One movie recently that we talked about it.
I liked Pressure. I had a great score, I thought.
Yeah,
that's
there's something
not
else.
Get...
But the director's doing Dune, I think. Not the director. Oh fuck, I can't think of it right now.
Have we reviewed it already?
Yeah, we reviewed it. So this guy is going to do 2 scores this year. So he's going to be competing against himself.
The guy who's doing Odyssey?
Yes, Odyssey. So he's doing Odyssey, and he just did something else.
He did Mando.
Yes, man. I think he did Mando. Yes, Mando was a great score too.
It's a great score, but yeah, that's not going to get nominated.
It might though.
Well, yeah. One of the issues with it is the main theme is not original because it's from the TV show. So I think there's certain rules. Shit. There's certain rules around that.
Fuck those rules.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's gonna be this guy competing against John Williams. So John Williams, as he always does, he sets the tone, right? He sets the mood. When he's talking about, or this is an interview. It's been done a million times. But Spielberg talks about when he first went into John Williams and said, "I need a score for Jaws," and then he did the boom boom. I'm not good at music, but the 2 keys. Yeah. And then Steven Spielberg was like, "What?" Like at first he thought he was playing a joke on him, but then eventually he realized the genius behind it, and that was really like the big part of Jaws. And then I'm deviating here, but I feel like it's appropriate to talk about John Williams before he's deceased. So bear with me. And then after that, Steven Spielberg referred John Williams to his best friend Lucas, George Lucas, and John Williams ended up doing the Star Wars films. So it's cool to see that backstory. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, it's awesome that they're together again. And it was a huge part of the reason why I enjoyed this film.
Yeah, I I'm going to get into what you just said in my second love to see it, because that's part of it. My second love to see it is I just
Before, just one thing to wrap it
yeah.
up, like the score really elevated the tension. It made viewers care more. It brought the suspense. What am I looking for? The emotional moments really hit a high note because of the score.
Yeah, so my second love to see it is I love the nostalgic feel of this movie, and part of that is definitely attributable to the score. Like you said, there are a few key moments in this movie that are quite emotional. There's the scene where Emily Blunt's character Margaret finally meets Daniel.
Yep.
There's the scene where they finally show there's the there's a storyline in the movie where both of them have parts of their childhood that they don't remember. And when we were finally shown this scene, and it's a classic like alien abduction type scene, but the score is very good at that part of the movie. Um, I liked those scenes, and a couple others where more of a subdued, quieter, mainly piano-driven score. There's some action scenes in this movie. We haven't talked about the action. Classic Spielberg action, which
Yeah.
also attributes to the nostalgic feel that I'm talking about. Um, but those scenes had more of a just like it sounded more like generic John Williams to me. So I liked the score. I did not love the score, but it did definitely contribute to this nostalgic feeling of the movie, which I love. I think the score was missing a memorable theme. I cannot hum a memorable theme from this movie. So that is a little disappointing. But yeah, the movie has a nostalgic feel. You got the classic lens flare. You got the John Williams score. You got the action, which Spielberg just always has to insert these action scenes. This movie is not an action movie, but it has
No.
quite a bit of action in it,
A
and
lot of car
it's
chases.
refreshing because it's a
Yeah.
long movie and it just breaks it up. It keeps you on the
The
edge.
car going through the house. I
Yeah,
was in,
the car going through the house, the train scene where they're
yeah,
getting rammed onto this train that's crossing a road, and then they have to jump onto the train. One thing I found interesting about um, that scene is their car is being dragged by this train, and there's
sure.
another train coming from the other direction. They have to jump off the car onto the train
Then
so they don't
train.
get killed by the other oncoming train. And Emily Blunt, she jumps, and Daniel catches her. She's like dangling off the train,
Yep.
and then they cut and they show them on the climbing from the roof of the train into the train, but they don't show him like lifting her up, like because that's
Mm,
I mean that's a pretty difficult maneuver. You would expect that
for sure.
in an action movie, but that's just a minor gripe. But yeah, the movie it has all the elements of a classic Spielberg movie from the 80s or 90s,
For
and
sure.
I love to
Eh,
see it.
Cool. All right. My next love to see it again. It's the ending. We talk about the ending a lot, whether we hated it or loved it, but it's the news reporter.
Okay.
So again, the movie, these it's everything's being disclosed. So what's
Hmm.
happening is, like you mentioned, the main character is first playing all these clips, and all these news channels are grabbing this feed, showing these clips. Everyone's shocked, and then you have this news reporter who's kind of the voice and explaining what she's seeing. So she was extremely believable, right? She just had you didn't know what she was going to say next, but also you could tell like she was a pro because
Yeah.
she's not a well-known actress,
Right.
and it turns out apparently I don't know if this is true or not. She actually was a news reporter at some point.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
Okay.
Steven Spielberg knew how pivotal the scene was. So he wanted to cast someone with that experience because he needed this news reporter to be believable. And I thought she really conveyed what was going on and what the viewers were seeing. You needed someone like who was completely shocked, who didn't know she was gonna say next. So you really bought into what was happening.
So,
She put a bow into it. Her name is Courtney Grace for our viewers out there.
okay, I did not know that. I appreciate learning that, Sid. I agree with you. She did a very good job. And actually, I'm gonna touch on this part of the movie in What If, our next segment.
Okay,
And
cool. Did you do your second love to see it? I
I
forget.
did. Yeah.
All right.
I'd love to see it's where the ending and
Yep.
just the nostalgic Spielberg feel of the movie.
Sure.
So why don't we get into What If?
What ifs? Let's do it.
So What If? It's our weekly segment where well, not weekly. Sometimes we don't do it, but we've been doing it lately. It's our segment where we get to have a little bit of fun, um, suggest some changes to the movie. Often we suggest some casting changes, but it's really open-ended. We could rewrite parts of the movie, whatever we want to talk about. Um, I have one What If suggestion. Do you have any this week, Sid?
I sure do. Why don't you go for your first what if or your
Okay.
only what if?
So this sort of falls into the category of casting change.
Okay.
You um, hinted at it just a moment ago. You mentioned this actress, lesser known actress who played one of the journalists at the end of the
Yes.
movie, and who actually you said had real journalistic experience.
Yeah.
And she did a good job. I would definitely keep her in the movie. But often movies like this, where they have scenes featuring TV journalists, they use real TV journalists. So my what if is what if they used real TV journalists? I've seen like Wolf Blitzer in movies
Oh yeah. Wolf is in
before,
everything.
Piers Morgan, Anderson
Yep.
Cooper, Chris Wallace. I've seen a number of journalists. So I think it would have been cool if they did that in this movie. It would give these journalists a chance because I'm sure like a lot of journalists, maybe every TV anchor has thought about
Mm.
like if I got to give the scoop on there are extraterrestrials, there's intelligent life out there in the universe. How would I deliver it? I think it would be cool to see all their takes on it. It would have added a little authenticity to the movie. And also, I would have, because I think Spielberg's take on Disclosure Day is very boomerish because he has it happening in a broadcast local news studio.
Yes.
That's not how it would happen. Let's be real. Nobody watches network news anymore. It would happen on the internet, right? We
Yeah.
would be watching it on YouTube. So I think it would be cool also if they showed some real YouTubers, some real podcasters. Like
Mm.
let's see Joe Rogan like telling us that would have been a phenomenal scene. Joe Rogan telling us that there's aliens. Come on, that would have been great.
It'd been great, but it'd be a different film. Let's be honest, because like you said, this is Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah,
He's not going to go for that new age shit.
yeah, but it would have been more realistic, I think.
Potentially,
Hmm.
I'm gonna disagree with you,
Okay.
um, but nothing wrong with it. It's actually a good take. It
Hmm.
works, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So what I was going to talk about, it's surprising because I thought actually you were going to go, and you kind of changed the scene in a way, but I thought you were going to go for more of a scene change because
Okay.
that's usually what you like, and you did a really good job of changing some scenes,
Yeah.
endings, and all that good stuff. So I thought this week you would do that, and I would do a character because that's usually what I do. But this week
Hmm.
we're switching it up.
Okay.
I'm not doing a character. So how does this movie start? Well, the answer is it starts at a wrestling event.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
So it starts with a wrestling event, which I didn't think was going to be the opening scene. So the opening scene is two wrestlers from AEW, which is what I watch. So Steven Spielberg is officially a sicko. That's what we call AEW fans. So it wasn't an AEW event, but it was a local wrestling show
Yeah.
featuring two AEW
It
wrestlers.
was like in a gym or something, high school gym or something like
Exactly.
that.
And you and
Yeah.
I have actually been at a high school gym for a wrestling event.
Have we?
Yeah, remember? With the I don't want to get into it. It's a really crazy
Oh, it
story.
was not really it was a smaller venue, but it wasn't really a high school
I think
gym.
it was a gym.
I think it was a very small arena.
It felt like I was in a high. It
It was,
doesn't
it was,
matter.
it was whatever. Yeah,
Whatever. But it could have fit this film, that
Yeah,
venue.
yeah.
So anyway, what I'm trying to say, that's how they kicked off this movie.
Yeah.
So what if it ended with wrestling?
Okay.
So because you had mentioned like they wouldn't necessarily, if it was happening today, they'd use YouTubers and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be at your local place.
Yeah.
So you're playing this cat and mouse game, and you have this entity that's about to catch up with you because they know you're about to disclose it. So what if you throw them for a loop and you make them think you're going to the local newsroom, whatever, but instead you actually go to a live wrestling event.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would think the main character is a wrestling fan for him to be at a wrestling event, because he suggested that place to do the drop off with his girlfriend. Right, we didn't really talk about it, but the film starts off with drop off. He exchanges or trying to exchange this alien technology for his girlfriend, who gets captured by this entity. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, what if it ends at the wrestling event? So they do a swerve. So all the bad guys end up at the newsroom, but it turns out they're at the wrestling event. So they take over the wrestling event. So fans are watching wrestling. All of a sudden, you have these guys showing the alien footage. The main actors get in the ring, and that's where they disclose what happens. Because then what would have happened if it was wrestling, it would have gone really viral. Then you would have had the YouTubers and everyone else airing this footage and all that good stuff.
Sid, do you know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
An historic wrestling event. This reminds me of
Which remind me.
John Cena
Oh shit!
during Monday Night Raw telling the world that we got Bin Laden.
Yes,
Right?
that's as big as a historic event as you could get.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. I could dig it.
I mean, if you could do Bin Laden, you could definitely do Disclosing About Aliens.
Yeah. So you knew that there were going to be AEW wrestlers in the movie?
Yes.
Who were they, by the way?
Sure. One is Lance Archer, and the other is Brian Cage.
Oh, I know both of them. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't recognize them in the movie, though. Okay.
But yeah,
Brian
they're both
Cage's
there.
been around for a long time, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Was
they've
he
both
like
been around for a while.
TNA guy?
Yes.
Okay.
So they've both been around a long time.
I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
It was cool because they're both part of the same stable right now in wrestling as well.
Okay.
So it's like their stable was involved in this film. So yeah.
I wonder why Spielberg decided to put a wrestling scene into the movie. Like, I can't picture him as a wrestling fan, right? Maybe he is.
Maybe
there's a lot of people, like, wrestling is more popular than people think. Like, there's a lot of people who are wrestling fans that you wouldn't expect.
Because it's storytelling at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's a cool idea.
Yep. Cool.
All right.
That was fun.
I think that's all we got for What If.
Yes.
Why don't we get into our final segment, what everyone's been waiting for?
Drum roll. The final verdict. You go first. I think I went first last week.
Okay. I'm going to try to keep it briefer than I usually do, because I just don't want to belabor what I've said already.
Sure.
This is a movie I enjoyed from beginning to end. It's a nostalgic feeling Spielberg sci-fi movie involving aliens. It was great to see it on the big screen. Great to hear that John Williams score. Great to see those classic Spielberg action scenes. I enjoyed this movie. I think the movie has some script problems that we've talked about that just holds it back a little bit. It holds it back from true greatness. I think the movie actually could have been shorter and been more interesting, or it could have been longer and explored more of the lore, explored more of the questions, and been more interesting. I think it should have picked one or the other. I think it tried to compromise, and it didn't quite work out with that compromise. Doesn't ruin the movie by any means. I enjoyed this movie. I love to see it. I give it 3.5 stars.
Okay. Alrighty, Mike. So you had posed this question maybe in the last review we did, and then we talked about this offline. We said, when's the last time we saw a Steven Spielberg film?
In movie theaters.
In movie theaters.
Right.
So we went through the list. Do you remember what your answer was?
Yeah, surprisingly, it was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Terrible movie.
A god-awful movie.
I mean, I've seen many of his movies that he's done since then, but not in theaters.
So yeah, that's the last one I saw. And that was 2008.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is.
Which is kind of disappointing because you had put him on the GOAT level.
Yeah, he's in the argument, yeah.
I mean, and I'm looking at the list here. He's had several movies since, and quite honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen any. I think that might have been the last movie I actually saw Steven Spielberg.
I mean, Bridge of Spies is an awesome movie. Actually, one of my favorite movies that he's ever done.
No, I haven't seen that. Let's check
it's
it
a
out.
really good movie. And Ready Player One, I like. Some people don't like it. I think it's a good movie. Lincoln is a fantastic movie. And there's been others that he's done. I did not see his version of West Side Story.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's definitely done good movies since then.
Yeah, but not your typical Steven Spielberg, what you're known for. So what I'm trying to hint at here is I felt like this was Steven Spielberg back at what he does best.
Yeah, I agree.
So in that sense, like I was pumped. It's been a while. I needed that Steven Spielberg. Again, I needed him and John Williams to team up. So I was super excited about that. And like I mentioned earlier in the beginning of this review, even though it's not technically a trilogy, it kind of is like a thematic trilogy.
It's almost like what do they call it? The
Oh yeah,
Cornetto
yes, the ice cream
trilogy,
trilogy. Yep.
the ice cream trilogy. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So, and there, I was searching so hard for this, but he did an interview where he basically tied a bow of again E.T. and then the other film and this one, and he did a really good job. I was hoping to say that today, but again, what I'm trying to say is I loved all the elements I'm used to with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
So it brought me back to my childhood. So I was really happy about that. And it kind of inflates the score, but like you said, there were some problems with it. So at the end of the day, I give it a 3.5. I love to see it. I was happy
Okay.
about it. It could have been better. But you did say we're going to end up closer this time, which we did. So
I
good
had
job.
a feeling. I guess I kind of, we have similar tastes, and
Yep.
we're usually on the same page. I had a feeling we would be this time. You just put a thought into my head. I should have said this during the what if segment, but there were some opportunities. What if like I don't think Spielberg should have made this like an official trilogy, but what if there were some Easter eggs? Like during the disclosure, we have all these TV screens on in the studio. What if like one of the screens had like an ET on it?
E.T. Oh, that'd been cool.
Right? That would have been cool.
Yeah, that'd been great.
Yeah. All right. This was really fun discussion, Sid. We both love to see Disclosure Day. We both gave it 3.5 stars. We both recommend it and see it in theaters, right?
Yeah, this is a film you have to see in theaters because I think a lot of our viewers, I know a lot of our friends grew up with Steven Spielberg, so go back and see him do what he does best.
All right. Yeah, definitely. We got a big one coming up next week. Toy Story 5.
I never thought I'd be reviewing this many animated films, but I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying it.
This is, I think, going to be the biggest movie of the year in terms of box office.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you might be right.
At least up until this point. Well, we got Avengers, right? So
Oh,
yeah,
that's true.
but it's gonna
At this point.
this is gonna top. This might be a $2 billion movie. This is gonna top 1.5, I think.
But
That's my
the Jackson movie too is up there, right?
It's
Because of China,
yeah,
apparently.
It's closing in on $1 billion. It's like at 930 right now. Mario Galaxy recently crossed $1 billion.
Okay,
A big year. It's been a lot of fun.
it has been a lot of fun. But the last one the spin-off wasn't that great, right? As far as viewers, the Toy Story spin-off, the Buzz Lightyear one.
Lightyear did not do well, but I have actually not seen that movie. And it was it wasn't like a Toy Story movie. It was supposed to be like, what if
He was real.
what if the action figure Buzz Lightyear, what if the fictional character that he's supposed to be based off in Toy Story, like what if he got his own movie? And it was just that movie. It's like, our Ninja Turtles movie.
True.
And I think that got hurt somewhat because we were still in the post-COVID era. It was still sort of in that era. So I haven't seen it though.
Anyways,
but
I'm excited for next week.
yeah, it'll be fun. So Toy Story 5, tune in next week. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you stick with us, and
We hope you love to see it.
we hope you love to see it. Take care, guys. Bye.